guys, welcome back to another Mortal Realms magazine review. Okay, so this week we are up to issue number 14. Okay, so our bullet points on the front are Dreadblade Harrows, which are our models this week. So we're back to models and not paints and bloody brushes. Okay, discover the forces of chaos and new rules to play through. Okay, so without further ado, guys, there are our models. These are going to be two mounted models. I'm not 100% sure what they are, whether they're a part of a unit or whether they're individual characters. I'd imagine they're probably part of a unit with it being more than one. But they look, as you can see on the front there, they look pretty impressive. They're basically, as I say, they're like on horseback, well, dead horseback, and they look like kind of ghouls. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump up top. We'll have a look at the magazine, all its contents. I'll go away, build these two. End of the video, as usual, I'll show you the models, okay? So folks, here we have issue number 14, The Mortal Realms. So as per usual, $7.99, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, Mortal Realms. Photo on the front of our models this week, issue 14, and our bullet points again. Dreadblade Harrows, discover the forces of chaos, new rules to play through, battle games in the Age of Sigmar. Okay, so all these covers are, basically the same. This one, just out of interest, is like a greeny colour. And we go onto the contents page. So in this issue, Dreadblade Harrows. Read about the Dreadblade Harrows, once proud and honourable soldiers who are now cursed to serve Nagash against their will. And that's actually, for those following and interested, is the Champions section. Lords of Chaos Part 1. Learn about the warriors, both mortal and demon, that serve the Dark Gods of Chaos in their endless pursuit of power. Thousand Storms Part 2, the second part of our timeline story from last week. Curse of the Hunter. A Dreadblade Harrow is cursed by Nagash to an eternity of servitude and must follow the most gruesome orders. And then we have our how to build, how to paint, and then Ghost Riders, which is our playthrough. We have the editor's bit, and then our introduction to the Nighthaunt Dreadblade Harrows. Okay, so it says that they act as officers in the ranks of the Nighthaunt. They serve as bodyguards for higher ranking Geists or as lieutenants to shepherd the lesser spirits who make up the bulk of each ghostly Nighthaunt procession. Okay, interesting. So we have a little bit of artwork to show our characters there. And then a little bit of bump, a little bit of fluff for us, which like most of you guys would really, really enjoy. Okay, and then I think we have a few of the actual different characters for these guys. Malakir Quail, says once marched to war alongside somebody else, a general, etc. And Kryptos Sharn, was once a chivalrous knight with nobility and honour in his veins. Okay, so those are basically the two names, both identities of our characters this week. And then Knights of Shrouds, which just tells us a little bit about it. Each Knight of Shrouds is the spirit of a commander who betrayed his own people. Okay, so Knight of Shrouds, he's a different character. He's one of the leaders. I think he's like one of your generals. Okay, and then we go into the stuff for the binder. And this is the Forces of Chaos. And for anyone following along, it's a Chaos 1 for the binder. Tells about Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, is a leader of the Chaos Forces. That's interesting because you can ally different armies together as long as they're the same type. So if you have like the undead and stuff like that, so you could have like the Chaos inside, in an army list along with your Nighthaunts, which gives you more options. It gives you more painting options, and you know what? It makes your army look really, really good, doesn't it? More undead. Who doesn't like more undead? Okay, so we go. That continues there with mortals and demons. More fluff for you guys to read. And then Stormcast Eternals Part 2. So it's the second part of what started last week. 1,000 Storms. It's just more of the timeline, guys. I'm not going to read it to you or bore you with it. You can follow along the magazine yourself. It's still available with Hachette or Hachette Publishing online there. www.hachette.com, I think, or .co.uk. You can look that up, just Google it, and you'll still be able to get hold of it. With being, I think up to now, I think my latest box that arrived the other day was issue 28. So we're about 3 months behind. But if it's something that you have convinced yourself that you want to collect, by all means, guys, go ahead and check that link out there. Okay, so that's just more of the bump to do with the timeline there. Okay, and then this one is L Battles 8 for our binders, and it's just the Curse of the Hunter. Dreadblade Harrows haunt the battlefield, disappearing and reappearing as if from nowhere. Wherever the hooves of their mounts fall, the bodies of the dead are sure to follow. So we get the impression already, these guys are a wee bit nasty. Okay, moving on, and there we go. That's where the magazine falls apart. Okay, so more of the guys on the back there, and then we get to the how to build section. Okay, by now, clip of safety. Used to make the jokes about it early doors, but 14 videos in now, and I get a little bit of old, isn't it? You know what I mean? But again, handy for beginners. And it just shows us what our parts look like and what we're doing with them. Okay, so all very simple stuff. And it just shows us our diagrams, how we build, which, you know, for you guys who've been following now, certainly for the last few, or if not, hopefully for like the entire series, you'd be used to that by now. And then how to paint your Dreadblade Harrows. So it says gather your paints, and it gives us just a little image of the paints that we need for these particular models. But again, like I always say every week, your models, feel free, paint them how you like. Okay, so they're going with basically a Corax white undercoat, Nelac oxide base coat by the look of it. We're dry brushing white, and then we're adding Cantor blue to the cloaks with a little outline of red there, and then Abaddon black to go on like things like our reins and pick up our little details. So, you know, the pictures are nice. They're showing us how, where, and whichever way, and that's what they should look like up to this particular stage. So, you know, they don't look amazing, but you know, some folks say, you know, some paint's better than no paint. Whatever floats your boat, guys. And then here we have the Ghost Riders, which is our playthrough. So we can see there we have 5 Castigators for the Stormcast, and we have the 2 Dreadblade Harrows. I knew I was going to trip over that. I've been going through it really conscious and not trying to make a mistake, but you know, it had to happen, didn't it? We're only human, aren't we? And again, by now, guys, the reference sheet, I'm not going to bore you with it. You know, just says Dreadblade Harrows, Castigators, Gryph-hound, how to allocate wounds. If you remember from last issue, Rend. Okay, and then just goes through our Nighthaunt turn, our Stormcast turn, Nighthaunt, Stormcast, so on, so on. And then it just says about the shooting phase there, and the the charge and combat phase there. Okay, so I think that must be our new little bits of rules there. All nice reference stuff, and the now usual Mortal Realms back page, guidance, Warhammer community, exploration. Basically, you want to go any further, have a look at that, guys, okay? And, oh, very nice. Coming to Mortal Realms, issue 15, complete your Sigmarite Mausoleum. Now that one I will enjoy. So it looks like it's a couple of sections of wall and a little statue upon a plinth. So I look forward to doing that one, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go away, I'm going to build these 2 guys, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you them, then we'll finish up. So guys, I'm back after building the models, and I've got to say, firstly, how easy these were to build. Looking at them, they look more complicated, obviously, because it looks like there's loads of sort of small parts and the weapons and all the stuff hanging off and stuff, but really, you know, they go together with the horse is in 2, the rider is in 3 pieces, 1 for each side of him. His left side, his right side, and the head just kind of slots in as you glue them together. So really nice job. Took a couple of minutes to figure out how I was going to build the first one. Second one was an identical build, so that was done in like sort of seconds. So really, a really nice quick job, guys. So we notice here all the lovely detail on the bases, which is now, you know, we're getting used to this, aren't we, to be honest? These really are like a lovely set of minis. So we see our rider there. You see like the reins and the bones of the actual horse coming through, the undead horse. You can see the harrowing look on our character's face there. with a big sword, big long sword over his shoulder, and those flowing robes, and basically just spinning him around to show you the other side. Again, we see the legs in that dynamic pose, and some of the rib cage of the horse coming through there, flowing cloak and all that kind of stuff, and again the sword. So that's your first guy, and give him a quick head-on look there. Okay, and the second one, he's very similar, to be honest, except this time he's up on his hind legs with the horse, and again another dynamic pose. We can see the rib cage there, and same sorts of features, the bones of the face, the skull of the horse with the reins. We see the rider holding on. Again, this time we see a slightly different pose in the head. The head is a little bit sort of dipped further down towards the ground, but again the horse on his hind legs. The sword is back again in that swiping type of motion, and again guys, we see the more ribs this time on this model, with the hooves up in a kind of canton type of a pose, I suppose you call that. I'm not really big up on horses. And again, you can see the base is all ornamental, all kinds of mad stuff for us to be able to paint on and that. So what do you think of these models, guys? Do you like them? I think they're quite dynamic, you know, and they really are nice. I'm going to have to go back and have a look at the Nighthorn's book, the army book, to actually see what their proper use is and how you'd use them and the points and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're nice, aren't they? How would you paint them? Would you paint them how the magazine shows, or would you do them a different way, or what would you do with them? You know, do you remind me of? I mean, I know they're more sort of obviously skeletons and bones and stuff, but I think it's probably the ride that reminds me of the Nazgul from like Lord of the Rings. You know, the big capes and the long swords. But yeah, really enjoy doing these, guys. Okay, so if you're new here, please consider clicking that subscribe button, liking the video, sharing, and leaving a comment. You know, have a look back. I say this is issue 14 now, so you know there's a few videos for you to look back over. And to any of you returning guys, are you still enjoying the content? I know a few folks are asking me to sort of paint things and that, but right now guys, I'm really busy with life and work and schedules and stuff I won't bore you with. But you know, I'm not saying I won't paint them. I probably will paint a few of them in time, and I'll see you all next week.